You know when you swallow right before you're about to go to bed, and it's just the warning sign that the next day is just gonna be a miserable day. That was me last night editing the zoo video. I took one hearty swallow and I knew my goose was cooked. I don't know if it's just me, but this year I feel like I've been way more prone to getting sick than any other year out of my 19 ones. It's actually ridiculous. I was sick 2 weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago. All of a sudden, I wake up this morning with a throbbing headache, nasally congestion, the whole 9 yards, and my throat feels like it's swollen to Timbuktu. Being sick isn't going to stop me from fulfilling my quota though, at least one 10-minute video every day. Now, I'm bringing this up again to say yesterday was kind of a weird drop situation, right? I didn't really expect that being busy in life would hinder my ability to edit a video, but when you're working on a really big project and all of a sudden you've got 4 to 5 hours you have to take out of your work time to interact with other people in your real social life, kind of becomes a little bit of a tight squeeze. And at the moment, I'm a bit more social in my life than I used to be. If this was a couple years ago, I probably could have been pumping out videos at the wazoo, but at the current moment, definitely gonna have to be one 10-minute video a day. I made a community post talking about this yesterday, but I know most people are like me and don't really read, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover that in this video. A day doesn't truly end until I sleep. My sleep schedule is very strange, and I know I'm sick today, so I gave myself a little bit of extra time in my bed to recover, but also I was in my bed until about 6 o'clock. It's been a very slow day for me today, and I'm probably going to be editing this video again late into the night before I post it because that's how my schedule is right now. I'm saying that just so I can justify being about an hour or two late on the time frame, because even though it's an hour or two late for me, it really doesn't count as an end of a day until I'm back in my bed and done being productive. I do come bearing good news though. The X's on the back of my hands are finally gone, not just faded, not just barely visible, they're actually gone. They're finally done, permanently marking my body. I guess it wasn't so permanent. Boy, do my hands feel tired. I've been exfoliating them for days. I've been trying to get those X's off for so long, just to go out this weekend and get them back reapplied. But at the end of the day, it's worth it for the fun time, and hey, it seems like a reoccurring character kind of thing. Boy, was editing that video yesterday a trek. I'm really not prepared to do longer than 10-minute videos, mostly because I don't really think I have the time to, at least to do them consistently. Probably not gonna do another one anytime soon, and by anytime soon, I mean at least in 4 to 5 days, because I'm gonna give myself some of a break, but honestly, it was one of the best videos I've ever made, and considering I've only made a handful of them, it's really a low bar. With that being said, I have thought about a couple of really fun ideas for videos like that. Ones where I actually leave my room. I'm a bit concerned to leave my room again though, considering the last time I left my room, I came back and had to edit for 20 hours and then got sick today. But it's fine, because it's all for the experience. Today's going to be a bit of a silly video, sillier than the rest, right? Because I know I'm kind of a silly person, but I really want to do this silly video today. Now, I, at my ripe 19 years of age, am very up to date with most internet lingo. I know most things that most kids are yapping about back and forth. I was raised in that environment, and even though I'm slowly becoming an unk, things are still looking up for me. I'm still very comprehensive of most of the talks going on. I know all the skibbities and all the tung-tungs and tra-la-la, tra-la-las. I don't really know what it is, though. Recently, I felt like on the internet there's been a big shift in the lingo we've been using, more away from memes than towards them. Specifically in the gaming sphere. I don't know if you guys really know this, I don't know if I've talked about it too much, but I do play a lot of video games, and I play a lot of video games with people over the internet, right? Usually randoms. I like to solo queue, I like to gamble my happiness away. Congratulate me, because I've actually been doing a lot better at avoiding that addiction recently. I've been sober from Valorant for a month now. It's feeling great. I don't miss it. I miss maybe some of the lack of boredom I had when I was on the game, because it was always something to do indefinitely, but I'm glad it's gone because I don't feel miserable after I get off of a game anymore, and that shit was really tanking my mood for the entire day. I can't really act like it was all willpower and might and indomitable human spirit that got me to get off of it, though. Realistically, it's because on my last day of the game, I had about 5 games in a row where people were saying words that I had no idea what they were talking about, specifically in the direction of slang, lingo, yada yada. Foid. What the fuck does that even mean? That's obviously not the only reason I got off, but it's the reason I want to cover today. In my years of being a teenager on the internet, the thing that most people avoided as a teenage male was the alpha male courses and the Andrew Tate pillification of everybody. I feel like it's a bit of a different environment than it used to be, though, and that is how time works. Obviously, things change, especially when you're growing out of something, but I don't really understand when this sudden shift started happening. Generalizing based on an experience I had in Valorant is a bit of a generous thing of me to do, because I understand that Valorant is the worst of all ages at the end of the day. It's a cesspool, a miasma of just misery. Nobody even who plays the game actually enjoys playing the game. So everybody's a little whacked out in their brain, got a little bit of the silliness in them. Beyond that, though, I feel like the humor has also changed, like I said earlier. For some reason, people of the younger demographic are starting to find incel terminology more funny than the memes that we propagated and left to them to find funny, and I'm a little offended by that. Seriously, what the fuck does foid have that Turn the Frickin' Frogs Gay doesn't? I'm actually really worried that we're going to become the millennials of our generation when we were that age, because at this point I feel like we're all starting to age out and move away as Gen Zers from what is the collective consciousness of the internet. Don't get me wrong, I like brain rot. I think brain rot is very funny. I think it absolutely has a place in modern humor. I use brain rot every day with my friends, and I am insufferably annoying with that shit. But, I mean, come on. Is the youth really using Reddit? Maybe I'm lucky. I managed to heed all of the warnings about all of these incel-like platforms my entire life growing up. I never bothered with Twitter. I was never subjected to that. I never bothered with Reddit either, unless I had some really specific tech problem, because Reddit always comes in clutch there. Again, I know, it's not all doom and gloom. Some kids are genuinely really smart. They actually have a frontal lobe in their brain. But other people, I'm concerned about. So I'm Googling words, right? I'm Googling definitions of words so I can actually record them for this video. Do you guys know there's a thing called the incel lexicon? I got a bit distracted from filming for a second because I started reading through this, and some of this is just the most insane shit ever. It actually puts a bit of a smile on my face, a little bit of a giggle, that anytime I look up anything involving incel terminology, every amount of text is just some giant word vomit of things that I've never even seen before. And I'm not even just talking about brain rot words. I'm talking about words that are just like huge words that they clearly only use to make themselves sound smart. I just think it's a little bit extra funny that they really do this to justify themselves not being able to get women. Don't get me wrong, I recognize that I'm not the most attractive guy. I'm pretty short. I don't really have a lot going for me, and sometimes I have a bit of woman troubles on the occasion, but I don't think anything could ever bring me to this level of delusion, to where I'd actually be reading subtext of the fuck is this? The incel lexicon like it's the Bible. When I was a kid, my mom used to always get on to me about some of the memes and stuff I would say, because she used to tell me she doesn't really understand when it ever became cool to start acting stupid, and that's fair. I feel a very similar way about stuff like this, because it makes me wonder if the younger generation is really that, like, incel-pilled, or if they're using it ironically. And I'm hoping that they're using it ironically, because if this is actually the world purview and I just managed to miss that generation step, I am very thankful. Anyway, I really just needed something to yap about for the day. I can turn one tiny experience into this big 10-minute rant that you're going to sit through every single time, and I don't really understand why, but I thank you for that. Please keep giving me your viewer retention. I do appreciate it. I'm really hoping this whole content thing is kind of like going to the gym again for the first time. You know, the more you do it, the more you want to do it, and the more it becomes habit. After a while, I just want to be able to roll out of bed and go, yeah, I'm going to make a video, spend a little bit of time on it, and then boom, pump it out for all of you wonderful people to see. If you guys are interested, maybe I'll find a tier list with random words like this that I don't understand, and I'll try to look them up and rank them on how stupid I think they are or not. Actually, that sounds like a good idea. I might end up doing that tomorrow regardless whether you guys are interested in that or not. Mostly because I love learning, and I love pointing and laughing at people who are dumber than me. Watching this back, I realized I didn't even define the word foid, and this wasn't a ploy to get you to watch the whole time so you could understand the definition. I genuinely just forgot to record that part. But in order to save you that Google search if you're actually that interested, it's really just a derogatory term that these men use to bully women on the internet, i.e. a pretty woman will post something on their Instagram and they'll have a bunch of incel men in their comments going, "Foid! Foid! Foid! Foid!" I think it's supposed to be like a mix between the F from female and the oid from android because they think women aren't real. That's just an unfortunate mindset.